Oh, okay, that'd be why. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Jack, and I got a question for you guys. Who here saw a movie last year? Theaters? Very good. So I say, along with you guys and the millions of other Americans in America, we're a big fan of movies as a culture. It's a huge part of the media that we consume, and we see it on a daily basis. But unfortunately, I've kind of noticed recently that there's been a lot of sequels and remakes and adaptations and imitations of popular media, which, side note, that is imitation purposely for comedy's sake, but it's kind of you kind of get the gist of that point. And there hasn't really been that many original films. So I took a look at the top 10 films of last year. I'm going to pause that real quick, my bad. Which was Zootopia and Secret Life of Pets. Out of the top 10, these are the only two that are original by like the lowest kind of standard there. Now, these aren't sequels or remakes or any of that, but upon further inspection, it's all things we've seen before. Anthropomorphic animals. If you've seen that before, there we go. Chicken Little, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Robin Hood, Shark Tale, personal favorite. And it's nothing that new. Meanwhile, Zootopia, it's a police procedural. The Departed, Seven, Silence of the Lambs, Zodiac. Well, not that similar to Zootopia. That whole idea of a story is really common, and it's also in every TV show ever, if I'm close there, possibly. So this is important to me because I want to figure out if it's possible to have like true originality in a story that I'm making. And this actually helps a lot because currently I'm working on a timer's not on, by the way. I'm working in a film studies class, and we need to make an original short film for our final. Now, when first brainstorming, I was still under the idea of true originality, something never before seen. Don't do that. That's a very bad idea, and it did not work for me at all. First thought was like, hey, what about maybe a hitman, contract killer type of main character? That's not been done before, right? Oh, yes it has. A multitude of times. I mean, 3 of these movies have hitman in the title. I mean, that one's in Spanish, but hitman. It's kind of, I felt bad. I was like, I don't know if I'm creative enough to do it. Maybe I'm just not capable of making a good story. What about westerns? Done before. Pirates? Lots of times. High school settings? No. Those are also very common. But I think if I asked you guys personally, you would say that you could have enjoyed a western film before, a pirate film, a hitman film possibly. I mean, Sicario's great. So if true originality, as I'm starting to come to the conclusion, is not possible, is originality important? Yes, I still think it is. I just simply had to rephrase my way of thinking. So I'm going to go step back real quick to the 1930s. Westerns blew up 1930s, 1960s. They were everywhere. John Wayne, a god of Western films. I mean, he was all everywhere. Great actor too. But they were so oversaturated with. Oh, I'm sorry about that. There was so much oversaturation of Western films that by the end of the 1960s they dissipated, and no one really wanted to watch them anymore. They were not common. No one liked them. I mean, nowadays we don't see them really at all. Magnificent Seven came out last year of no really competition in the Western genre, and it did not perform that great. And I'm going to ask you real quick, can anyone think of a genre or type of film that we see a lot today? Close? Superheroes. There have been 5+ superhero films this year alone. They're huge, and I personally don't want to see superhero films just dissipate and go away because I like superheroes. They're cool. They're oh crap! I double clicked. Everywhere. Can we go back? Scroll. Oh, just kidding. There we go. Superhero films. Thank you, Mr. Purcell. They're huge. And thankfully, I have seen, compared to Westerns, directors do know and learn from history that originality is still important. And while something completely new and fresh may not be as possible as I would like it to be, it's still important to care about originality in terms of your combination of character archetypes, plot threads, settings. And I have seen this before in superhero movies, which is why I think people are starting to learn it's important. And I think it's important that all of us as storytellers and creators of new media should learn to respect how to make films with similar aspects that are also fresh and interesting. So I'm going to take two films, real popular. Oh my lord. There we go. The Dark Knight and Thor Ragnarok. Now at the basis, I'm going to bring this here, they're both superhero films. Kind of like these two butterflies here. They start out the same. But for anyone who's seen both films, I think we can all agree they're very different. Very, very different. Take the director. Oh, I keep scrolling right, my bad. Christopher Nolan. He took The Dark Knight and he's like, you know what? I want to make it a crime drama. So he took aspects of crime drama film and he put it on the Batman story. And it worked very well. But he was also like, I kind of interested in the themes of chaos and order and anarchism. And he thought it could really soup up an antagonist in the Joker and a protagonist in Batman. So that's what he did. He took his superhero film and added themes and ideas from other films to make his own unique one. Taika Waititi, director of Thor Ragnarok, was like, I'm not too serious of a guy. Let's take comedy and put in a superhero film. So now he's got that there. And he was also like, I'm not a huge fan of the human aspects of Thor. I think it could get kind of boring. So he took sci-fi. He's like, I'm going to make a comedy sci-fi about a superhero. And he did. And both of these films were great because of the director's choices. And now, as we see, we have two completely different creations. A Bear Dolph Butter and a Ala Eagle Butter. Completely different. But every single aspect of these two creatures is something we've seen before and familiar with. This is how movies should be treated when we're making sequels. You want to go for a completely original idea? That's great. But if you're tasked and think about making something that's maybe a sequel or remake, you should know that you want to strive to make something different. And that's not just impossible anymore. You can take crime dramas. I mean, heck, the noir genre got a sci-fi kind of facelift with Blade Runner, and it's excellent. And that is why I believe that originality is still really important. It is something we should value in the cinematic creation universe. Oh, God. So, in conclusion, I think... Oh, I said it. I'm so sorry. I think it's important to respect originality even when making something that could be a sequel or a remake. So I just want to say thank you for your time, and I hope you all can become great storytellers with this type of information. Thank you. I fucked up. Ew.
Okay, so what I'd like to do is just spend a few minutes, a couple minutes after each presenter, giving some verbal.
My mouth is so dry.
Okay. This can be water good or maybe something on top of it. Okay, let's start with,
I have water, it's okay.
a couple,
Thank you.
points about what was effective and what stuff was really effective.
I thought the visual aid, like with the animals, that was super cool. It was a very good visual on how to do it. I also think that maybe when you do that, you should hold them up or something, so like people who are in the back can see you. Awesome. But otherwise, very well done.
Thank you. Put that there.
No, thank you.
Oh,
What else was effective?